Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Deshaun Watson getting suspended for 6 games, as that was the ruling from Judge Sue L. Robinson. However, there seems to be an outrage amongst NFL fans as the suspension was only for 6 games. The expectation for Deshaun Watson's punishment was going to be a suspension for at least an entire season, according to most NFL fans and even some NFL insiders. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. What is your reaction to Deshaun Watson being given a 6-game suspension? And my response is just like most people. It's a slap in the wrist. I couldn't believe that Deshaun, the massage man Watson, yes, that's going to be the nickname I'm going to be giving Deshaun Watson, was only given 6 games. What? How? How could Deshaun Watson only be suspended for 6 games? I couldn't believe it. Look, Ben Roethlisberger in 2010, he got suspended 4 games because there was one case of him possibly sexually assaulting a woman. Deshaun Watson, there were 24 cases out there. Yes, I understand that he has now settled with 23 out of the 24 accusers, but still, 24 cases, that's a lot. That is predatory behavior from Deshaun Watson as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that he only got 6 games, I feel very, very surprised about this matter. And I feel very, very alarmed about how they did this process. I mean, I can't believe that Deshaun Watson only got 6 games forward, because Deshaun Watson, there's been so much trouble with this matter as far as I'm concerned that I was thinking that it was going to possibly be for an entire season and maybe even some more added time. But I thought entire season was already part of the discussion. I thought that was already almost a done deal, with the possibility of maybe suspending it and getting it lowered down to 12 games. The fact that Deshaun Watson and his representatives are saying that they're not going to appeal the suspension, that's how you know it is too light. Look, typically players, they almost always want to appeal their suspension whenever possible. So the fact that they're not willing to appeal, or not wanting to appeal, should I rather say, the suspension, that should tell you that the NFL, or should I rather say Judge Sue L. Robinson, made this punishment far too light. I could not believe it. And look, I understand that with all the evidence and everything like that, and that Deshaun Watson technically did not commit a crime. I truly believe that. I truly believe that Deshaun Watson did not commit those crimes, or at least there isn't enough proof to show that he did commit those crimes. But what there is proof of is that he has shown that he is a disturbed individual and that he's morally bankrupt. And when you talk about player conduct in terms of the threshold for punishment, there was enough punishment for Deshaun Watson to be shown that matters. So the fact that Deshaun Watson only got 6 games, I truly cannot believe that was the case. So I'm just truly surprised by that. But let me now talk about this in a football matter. What do I think this Deshaun Watson suspension is going to mean for the Cleveland Browns? Well, this means that Jacoby Brissett is going to be their starter, for better or for worse. He's going to be their starter the first 6 games. Now, look, I've heard some people say the Cleveland Browns should go ahead and try to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo on the cheap, but that literally makes no sense, because Jimmy Garoppolo is only going to be a 6-game rental. Look, if you trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, you're not trading him to start for 6 games, then be their backup. And why is everybody acting like Jacoby Brissett's the worst backup quarterback out there? Jacoby Brissett ain't even that bad of a quarterback. Look, I'm not saying that he's better than Jimmy G. He most certainly isn't. But Jacoby Brissett isn't that bad of a quarterback. I mean, everybody's acting like, oh my God, if Jacoby Brissett's going to be their quarterback, they're going to go like 0-6, 1-5. I mean, look, Jacoby Brissett is a competent backup quarterback. Yes, he's limited. Yes, he can't necessarily throw the deep ball well, but what he can do well is that he can do well in the quick game, the RPO, and he can also scramble a little bit as well. He's a good game manager. And with this Cleveland Browns team, they have a talented football team. They got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running the football. They got Amari Cooper catching the football. They have a top 3 offensive line. And don't forget about this Cleveland Browns defense. This Cleveland Browns defense, they're as good as any. So I'm looking at this Browns team. I'm thinking first 6 games of the schedule, I think that they could realistically go 3-3. I mean, look, they play the Panthers week 1. They play the Jets week 2, then they play the Steelers on Thursday night in week 3, then they play the Falcons and the Chargers and the Patriots. And I'm not going to act like some of those games are pretty easy, but who's to say the Cleveland Browns couldn't go 3-3 in that stretch? Jacoby Brissett has shown that he's capable of playing average football as long as you put him on a good team. Now look, week 1 against the Panthers, I think the Panthers are going to win that one. But if Cleveland wins that one, I would not be surprised. But I got the Panthers winning that one. I think the Panthers can force the upset. because the Panthers, they always play well at the beginning of the year. It's just the end of the year, they always fall off. Take that from a guy that roots for the Carolina Panthers. I'm a Panthers fan, so I know my team firsthand. Then you look at the Jets game. Now, that's actually a game that I think the Jets could possibly steal, but if the Browns win that one, okay, I would not be surprised one bit. Then you're looking at the Steelers game. It's a division game. Pittsburgh, they're in rebuilding mode. Trubisky or Pickett, whoever they're going to start, I think Cleveland's defense is going to stifle them up, and they're going to get the win. Then they play the Falcons. Remember, Marcus Mariota is their starter, not Matt Ryan anymore. Mariota is a starting quarterback. He ain't going to cut it. Cleveland Browns are definitely going to win that one. And then you're looking at the Chargers and the Patriots one. I know that the Chargers, they have a top-flight quarterback, but they have been known to lose games that they should not win. So maybe Cleveland can steal that game. And as for the Patriots game, yeah, I think Bill Belichick's going to outcoach Kevin Stefanski in that one. But yeah, just look at the schedule. I think that the Browns could legitimately win 3 games out of that stretch. I think they can beat Pittsburgh. They're definitely going to beat Atlanta, and they might steal a game against the Chargers. That's how I'm looking at this. So they're going to be 3-3 by the time Deshaun Watson's going to get back. So hearing that Deshaun Watson's only going to get suspended for 6 games, this is absolutely huge news for the Cleveland Browns, because now it gives the Cleveland Browns 11 games to work with Deshaun Watson. However, that's not the only thing that's coming out of my mouth concerning about this matter, because I think that the Cleveland Browns, they might actually not be as good with Deshaun Watson as what people are anticipating. I mean, look, Deshaun Watson, he's a very good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He led the league in passing yards the last time he played. He completed 70% of his passes the last time he played as well. And he has a career TDINT ratio of 104-36. The guy can play, and he certainly elevated his teams on the Houston Texans. This is certainly going to be one of the better teams that he's been on in his professional career. However, I have legitimate concerns that Deshaun Watson is not going to perform all that for the Cleveland Browns, because Deshaun Watson hasn't played football in a year and a half, and dealing with the things that he's dealt with off the field, it could take a toll on the playing field, because he's going to be really rusty by the time he gets back. So he might get off to a slower start than what people are anticipating about the guy. So that might put Cleveland behind the 8 ball. I do think that Cleveland, they could finish the season strongly. But man, that middle of the season, they might struggle with it, because Deshaun Watson might be trying to get his groove back. And that might cost the Browns a playoff spot, especially in the stacked AFC, because there are so many good teams in the AFC. You're thinking about the Kansas City Chiefs. You're thinking about the Buffalo Bills. You're thinking about the Baltimore Ravens, the Indianapolis Colts, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Cincinnati Bengals, Denver Broncos, now that they got a new quarterback. And there's also a bunch of other teams that could certainly contend for playoff spots as well. So when you look at it from that perspective, the Cleveland Browns, they're going behind the 8 ball. So even though Deshaun Watson's only going to get suspended for 6 games, I still don't think this Browns team is going to make the playoffs. They're just going to be too far behind the 8 ball. I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be as great as advertised. I think that Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, but he's not a great one. I mean, by the end of the year, we might not even be looking at Deshaun Watson as a top 10 quarterback. We might only look at him as an above average quarterback that can compile numbers. That's kind of where I'm at with Deshaun Watson. Those are my thoughts and my reactions to him only getting suspended for 6 games and what this means for him moving forward. I also want to note that Deshaun Watson is only going to lose $345,000 out of this suspension, because he's only getting paid. Well, it was only getting paid $1 million in base salary. Now he's only going to get paid $690,000 for this season. Then after that, that's when the 5-year, $230 million contract's basically going to essentially kick in, and then he's going to get his fully guaranteed money. So that's what I think is going to happen with Deshaun Watson. I think that he's going to compile a 6-5 win-loss record while putting up numbers, but will ultimately fall short of making the playoffs. I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to make the playoffs this year. I think that they will go 9-8 this year. No playoffs for them. That's where I stand. So that is why Deshaun Watson only getting suspended for 6 games was honestly a joke to see, considering the optics around his situation. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran and @Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.